Today, Brainwork is going to provide you with a video about the basics of working memory. I'll first start off with the question, what is memory? It's a complicated question, and there's not really any easy or quick answer. Today's video is just going to be about one part of memory called working memory. This short 10-second clip that you're about to see is an animation representing the formation of some new neural connections. In essence, the formation of a new memory. As you can see here, some axons will be stretching out and forming some new neural connections. The brain has some 100 billion neurons with some 100 trillion neural connections, some of which you're seeing happening, or that you did see happen right here. We're just beginning to understand how this complicated network of cells and connections works. To quote Carl Sagan, this brain of ours is a very big place, but it's housed in a very small space. What does a thought or a memory look like? Well, at the molecular, cellular level, it looks like what you see on the screen. It's a bunch of chemical impulses running down neurons, axons, being interpreted and then represented in a manner in which we understand. Say, a picture of a meadow, or you hear a telephone number and you picture those 7 digits. I'll jump into some brief descriptions of some types of memory. The two most commonly heard types are short-term and long-term. Long-term is the storehouse of everything you know about the world, about yourself, past, and to some extent can be thought of as unlimited. In theory, anything you have experienced which is stored in long-term memory is available for later recall. Short-term memory, probably most popularly associated with what we store for a short period of time. For example, that telephone number, that 7-digit number. Emerging research is starting to show that the short-term memory, that term, and how we come to understand it, is not really the most accurate definition of what it's representing. A new term called working memory is starting to supplant the term short-term. I'll quickly go through a few models of memory. This first diagram that you see here is a model created by Atkinson and Schifrin. To quickly summarize this model, memory first must be encoded as it comes in as input, something you smell or taste, or a 7-digit phone number that you hear over the phone while you're talking to a friend. This initially goes into something called short-term memory and gets rehearsed, as the diagram shows, and with rehearsal, with sufficient rehearsal, that 7-digit number, if that's the example, gets transferred into long-term memory. Without the rehearsal, without any sufficient amount of repetition, unfortunately that 7-digit number could get lost in what they call displacement or decay. There's another model of short-term and long-term memory by Badley and Hitch. I won't show it here, it's a little bit more complicated, but there are a few other models that have this separate systems of short-term and long-term. The other kind of model I'll show you is from Cowan. He has a model that doesn't necessarily separate short-term and long-term memory, but rather he describes working memory as a part of long-term memory, and he depicts working memory as our focus of attention, what we are thinking of right now at this moment. And this term, focus of attention, is what I'll focus on for the remainder of the video. Segment, I'm going to try to show you working memory at work. Try picturing your long-term memory as your own private library. However, it's not set up as books with organized kind of in-sequence pages, but rather a network of pieces of information linked like a neural network to a family of others that share some common properties. Working memory, or as Cowan calls it, our focus of attention, can be viewed as a small canvas, or like in the video here that you're about to see, a small little box from which we can view our thoughts. This short video you're about to see shows how our working memory, or focus of attention, moves around our vast library of networked neurons or pieces of info. Let's start here with this box that represents our focus of attention. In this example, my focus of attention, or my working memory, has within it a thought about the final screening, about this introductory video on working memory. thinking about this final screening, as you see depicted here, has lit up, some related connections: editing, a director, producer, sound. And as these are being activated, this activation spreads across our library of pieces of information, or across our own brains. And a neat thing happens that you're about to see. I'll let it play. So, as you saw there, the activation spreads, and our focus of attention spread along until at some point we stop. And I'll just play it a little bit further, and it stops at some point. And in this example, it stopped at a soundboard, which I'll need to edit the sound of this video a little bit later. So, to conclude, memory is complex. The number of neurons and the connections therein is in the billions and trillions, respectively. I hope this introductory video on working memory was helpful. That concludes this short educational video on working memory. Please leave a comment on YouTube. Please be sure to check out the other videos we have that Brainworks has, and check out our website. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.